Dear students, in this video I am going to discuss about law of demand. As we have seen that in economics there is always a cause and effect relationship between two variables. So here also in this law, price is the cause variable and demand is the effect variable. This law was presented by Professor Alfred Marshall and it expresses an inverse relationship between price and demand. It states that when other factors influencing demand remain unchanged, if price of a good falls, its demand expands, and if price of a good rises, its demand contracts. We have already seen that there are two main determinants of demand. One is price and second one is other determinants or factors other than price. So here it is assumed that when all the other determinants or factors other than price, they are constant or they are unchanged, and when price rises demand falls, and when price falls demand rises. Talking about certain assumptions of law of demand, first one, taste and preferences of the consumers remains unchanged. That means here there is no change in the taste as well as preference of the consumers, they remain the same. Similarly, income of the consumer, which has a positive relation with the demand of a commodity, here income is assumed as unchanged. Next one is price of the related goods. Related goods may be a substitute goods or it may be complementary goods. So here it is assumed that price of these related goods are also unchanged. Also, consumers do not make any anticipation or they do not expect any change in prices in future. And lastly, the size of the population remains the same. Now, law of demand can be explained with the help of a demand schedule and a diagram based on this schedule. First of all, what is a demand schedule? The schedule showing willingness of a consumer to buy different quantities of a good at various prices is called the demand schedule. As you can see that there is a table, and in this table there are two columns. One shows the price of milk and other shows the demand of milk. So this kind of table itself is known to be schedule. It is known to be demand schedule, which shows that at various prices in how much quantity a consumer is going to buy different quantities of goods. So here if you see and if you observe this schedule, when price was initially rupees 50 per liter, at that time total demand for milk was 10 liters. When price was reduced to 40 rupees per liter, demand has risen to 20 liters, and finally when prices has reduced to 10 rupees per liter, at that time demand of milk was 50 liters. So it can be concluded that as price is falling, demand is expanding. Now the same thing can be presented by the means of a diagram. This diagram shows that there is a price of milk and demand for milk, and here as you can see that there is a demand curve which is sloping downwards from left to right. It is sloping downwards because it indicates that there is an inverse relationship between price and demand, as we have studied in the law itself that when price of a good falls, demand expands, and when price of good rises, its demand contracts. Thank you, students.